Most coaches think they need more tactics to scale, and of course, don't get me wrong, there are quite a lot of coaches that they do need a little bit more knowledge on strategy. For a lot of people, it's actually them. They're the bottleneck. And the reason that you might be stuck under 10k per month is exactly the same thing. You might be the bottleneck right now and you might not even know it. So this is something that a lot of coaches that I've spoken to, they've needed to have this shift in themselves to get to that next level, because it's not necessarily about having the perfect offer or the best niche or some fancy funnel or something like that. The bottleneck is always going to be, even if you have the strategies and everything, you've got the knowledge, if you don't have your mindset, your habits, and also your leadership, if you do have a team or team members, if your business feels stuck and these things are not in place, it's probably because you are. I remember at the start when I started my coaching business and I was stuck under 1k for around 6 months or so. I was burnt out. I was tweaking lead magnets and stuff like that on Canva and doing unnecessary tasks. And the truth was, guys, I was hiding. I was hiding from the real work, the things that actually really matter, the content, making sure I'm building a connection, having conviction in myself and my program. And the moment that I owned all of these things, that's when everything changed. And this is what I tell every single coach that I speak with. First thing is you need to have clarity on your value. Most people can't even clearly explain how they get results. Like, you need to know absolutely down to a T why it is that you get results, and you need to fully believe in yourself. Transparently, I went through this. I had a lot of imposter syndrome, and I was like, why are people coming to me for coaching? And you need to be super dialed in on that and really have the clarity, because if you don't have belief in yourself, that's just going to shine through in everything that you do, your content, when you're having conversations with people in the DMs, on consultation calls, and even within your program. So that is going to bleed into everything you do. So you need to have the belief, and you need to be able to clearly explain why you get results. And then you need conviction as well. People don't buy coaching. They buy certainty, and they buy the belief that they're going to get results. And this is also why people struggle to charge high ticket prices online, because they don't have the conviction in themselves and the belief that they are going to get the person the result. So when that person, when we speak to someone to come onto our fitness business, they aren't just buying, a coaching program that they could just get on ChatGPT or something like that, right? They are paying for the belief and the trust that we are going to get them to where they want to be, their dream outcome, solving problems. That's the whole point in this. And that's the whole point in any business, is solving problems. And people pay because they believe that, this is going to get them to where they want to be. They pay based off of the value you've been providing them. They pay based off of their belief in you, testimonials, things like that. So they're buying certainty. So that is something really, really important to have. If you don't have that conviction, it's going to be very difficult for you to progress with your business and progress with yourself as a business owner. And then, of course, we need visibility. We do need visibility in the first place, that top of the funnel, to have people coming through and coming onto the consultation calls, coming on board the coaching. It all starts with that visibility at the start, right? So we need to be producing better content. We need to be producing more content to some extent, obviously, not super low quality content, and that's going to dramatically help in terms of that funnel and bringing people through to the consultation calls. So for every single coach, this is the number one task. Number one task is that top of the funnel, because if there's no one, seeing your content and your posts, then no one's going to be coming on board the coaching. It all starts with that and that visibility. So that is super important. And that's not me saying you need thousands and thousands of views, because I don't even have that. But there need to be some views there, of course, but there need to be high quality views as well. And what does this have to do with what I'm talking about here? It's this visibility idea, but it's connected to the conviction and the clarity. You need to have just clarity on what you're doing. You don't want to be doing what I was doing when I was stuck. I was just focusing on things that didn't really matter, and this was keeping me stuck. It's just my mindset. I didn't truly believe in myself. I was having, imposter syndrome, all these types of things, and then therefore you subconsciously, without you realizing it, start focusing on the wrong things, and you're holding yourself back. And then the fourth and final thing that is super important and connects all of this together is you need to have standards. You need to have standards for yourself, but you need to have standards for your day-to-day routine and your business. You need to treat this like a business, guys. It's not a side hustle. If you truly want to create this life of freedom, of course, all this stuff matters. That inner work, that self-mastery that I'm speaking about today. Obviously, the strategies as well, of course, matter, but you need to have the standards as well. You need to have those standards for yourself, because if you don't have that, you're not going to get anywhere. So, of course, I'm not saying work yourself into the ground. You need to have some boundaries there, but you need to have standards as well. You need to treat this like a business. It's not a side hustle. You're not going to create this life of freedom that you're looking for and that I've achieved through treating this like a side hustle. You need to go all in. You need to treat it like that, because otherwise you're not going to see success. There's no point in just going half in on something, and you're not going to see results, and then you're not going to want to continue because you're not seeing the results, and you're just going to quit and do, unfortunately, what a lot of people do. They don't see the results, they don't seek advice, and then they go back to their life that they're just absolutely miserable with. And I've been in that miserable life. I've been in the 9-to-5 job. I've been in that corporate job in London, working in the insurance industry, and I can't even imagine going back to that. And the reason, I see a lot of people, they try and break out into doing their own thing, and they just don't set the standards. They don't go all in. They don't treat it seriously, and then they go back and live their life that they're not happy with. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for you. So please do just treat this like a business. But what do I mean by that? You need to start taking actions as a business owner. You need to start thinking of this as a business. It's not just something where, you post a little bit of content and people around you be like, what's that you're doing on Instagram and or wherever you're posting. I would suggest Instagram if it is fitness coaching you're working on. But you need to treat this seriously. You need to talk to yourself in a serious way about this. You need to set your routine on a serious level, and you need to make decisions seriously, like with intention. What am I going to do tomorrow? What are the 3 things that I need to do to move the business forward? I need to implement those. You can't be messing around like I was at the start, tweaking little templates and stuff like that, and stuff that doesn't really matter. You need to get to work on the big needle movers. So if you are stuck under 10k per month, just please do ask yourself, where am I right now not showing up as a leader? Whether that is a leader if you do have team members, or if it's a case of being a leader throughout your routine, or being a leader on your social media, or a leader within your coaching, within your client, with your clients. So you being that leader, you need to fix that first. You need to fix your mindset, and then scaling is going to be so much easier, because I'd say scaling, obviously, we talk about the 80-20 rule with nutrition, and I'd say the same sort of thing applies really when it comes to business. I'd say it's 80% internal and 20% strategies. Of course, as I said right at the start, let's not be silly about this. Of course, there's a lot of strategy involved, but there comes to a point where you know that strategy now. You need to believe in yourself and trust in yourself to implement it. So hopefully you've taken that message away from today. And if you do want to know how to build a 10k per month coaching business, I've already completely documented every single thing I know and put a complete blueprint together on how you can achieve that. So I'm going to link the video to that somewhere around the screen. So make sure you click on that, guys, and copy me so you can get there even faster than I did. But other than that, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in the next video.